Hi, this is Mary Petruzzi with Team Petruzzi, your certified senior real estate specialist. And I am joined today by Johnny Joyce, who is your Fort Myers senior real estate specialist. Johnny, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for having me.
So for someone who is coming from Indiana and they're looking for their next place to their next adventure in retirement, and they're still investigating all different areas around the country. If someone is thinking about Fort Myers, in your opinion, what makes Fort Myers a great place for your retirement adventure?
But I moved here primarily because of the weather, because I want to be outdoors as much as possible, and I don't like to wear coats. And I wear a sport coat, which is fine, but I don't like to wear a heavy coat. I have a boat. I want to go boating. I want to be on the water in January if I want to. I couldn't do that in Charleston, So.
Yes. Well, I mean, you can't do that in Indiana. Well, you could, but most people don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I've never lived in Indiana, but I know it's cold there. I'm from Nebraska originally. So.
Oh, okay. So then you understand what it's like in the winter time.
Yes, that's why I didn't move back to Nebraska when I got out of the submarine Navy.
Well, I can't say that I blame you. But for someone who likes to still get out and about, right? What kind of events, like art fairs, cultural activities, sporting events? I mean, if someone who just likes to stay active, what does Fort Myers offer for them?
Okay, cultural events. I mean, there's recreational activities. Golf is everywhere. There's over 90 public and private golf courses in Lee County alone. And that's where Fort Myers and Cape Coral is, Lee County. Collier County is just south of us in Naples, which is just a short distance away. There's a zoo here, there's museums, there's multicultural events going on all the time. You have swimming, you have pickleball, you have bocce ball, there's parks, trails, cycling, just about anything that you can think of outdoors is here.
Well, it sounds like you have, an array of opportunity to do something outside to really enjoy the weather, the warm winter, as opposed to in the Midwest. And what about communities like your 55 plus communities? I bet there are hundreds of them down there.
Yeah, you took the word out of my mouth. I mean, there's 55 plus communities in single family residence, in multifamily residence, in condos, in mobile home parks that are deeded and not deeded. Some are gated, some are not.
Right. So I mean, it's the exact thing that drew you to Fort Myers to move down there, right? It's going to be the same way for someone who's been there a few times, but actually is now looking to move there full time.
I would suspect so, yeah. So
talk to me a little bit about, price points. What would you consider the average price point for, let's say, a 55 plus community?
Well, it depends again, whether you do townhouse, condos, single family condo, or whatever, the mobile home parks. The average price, the median price house here is $350,000.
Okay.
So you can pick and choose where you want to be. So there's houses less expensive. You can buy a house on the water that goes to the ocean still for under $400,000 here.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's canals everywhere. So it's supply and demand. So when you have so much water, the prices are not quite as expensive to get on a waterfront property. Now, there's also waterfront property that does not go to the ocean,
okay,
which is freshwater canals, and they're a little less expensive for the same house. But personally, I bought a house on the water, on a canal, that goes to the ocean. I'm less than a mile from the river. The river goes to the ocean. And I paid $360,000 for it.
So do you keep your boat at your house as well, or do you have to have that at a different, like a pier?
Currently, I keep it at a marina because I don't have a lift.
Okay, but
I'm going to put a lift in, and that, yeah, all my neighbors have lifts, and
okay,
and it's pretty common. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's really nice. What about, taxes and so forth and so on for Florida?
There is one of the big drawing points for retirees is there's no state tax in Florida. So your Social Security check, your retirement checks, your 401ks, you don't have state tax.
Nice.
That's a lot of savings.
That is a lot of savings. So, right, I mean, you guys have a lot of sporting events down there for people who are just avid about sports and just want to stay, they just want to go to any kind of sport, right? Do you have that opportunity?
Yes. The thing I'm really excited about is you have two major football markets. You have Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just 3 hours or 2.5 hours away from here. But you have Miami, which is driving distance and back in the same day, and same thing with Tampa. So even if you don't like those two teams, your team's probably going to play one of those, and you can go watch your team play those people. And another thing that excites me is I'm a big baseball fan, and it's spring baseball is like rampant here. Locally, you have the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox here locally in Fort Myers. Then just up the highway about 45 minutes, in Venice, you have the Atlanta Braves. And then in Sarasota, you have Baltimore Orioles. And then in Bradenton, just about an hour and a half from here, is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And in Tampa, you have my favorite, even though I'm not from New York, the Yankees.
Ah.
And they have their own, all these teams have their own stadiums, which is pretty cool. And then just a little bit further in Clearwater, about 2.5 hours from here, is the Detroit Tigers. And then in Dunedin, about 3 hours away, is the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay. Wow. So somewhere in there, your team's going to show up.
That's right.
If you like baseball.
You could baseball yourself out.
That's right. And I didn't even mention Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. What else do you think is important for someone who's looking to retire in Fort Myers that they should know about?
If you got grandkids coming in, take them to Disney World, 2.5 hours away. That's
what is the
harbor cruises? There's harbor cruises. There's a Key West Express, which I haven't been able to go on yet, but I'm excited about it. It's a 3-hour cruise from Fort Myers to Key West for $175 round trip.
Well,
I think that's pretty cool. The harbor cruises are pretty cool. There's over 200 restaurants accessible by water.
Yeah.
You have a boat, you can go, you can spend the rest of your life going to a restaurant. And I think there's 1,900 restaurants in Lee County.
Oh my gosh.
1,900. 1,550 of those restaurants are sit-down restaurants.
Oh my Lord.
Now, I don't know if McDonald's is on that sit-down sector or not, but I don't know what their classic, but there's a lot of restaurants here and all different kinds of cuisine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Multicultural, everything there is here.
Okay, so I hate to ask this question, but I think it's important to ask the question. What is the crime rate like down there?
Well, glad you asked. Nationally, we are 4% below the national average. It's a very safe place, comparatively speaking.
Yes, a huge benefit.
you have to also bounce back to the gated communities if that's important to you. There are so many to pick from, so many.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
And they're all so beautiful.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful. They during Christmas they just decorate all the palm trees and
oh, beautiful.
Yeah, Fort Myers has an historical section, and Naples has an historical section, and Cape Coral also has a downtown area, and they're all lit up with Christmas lights, and it's so pretty.
I bet it is pretty.
It sure is.
It really.
And there's no snow. That's the best part.
Snow is only good for Christmas Day, and then that's it. That one day. Well, Johnny, so tell everybody, how long have you been in real estate?
Just a couple of years. You know, I just started, 45 years ago in 1970. I have been in the real estate business since I was 27 years old, and I'm 71 now.
Oh my goodness.
I got out of the Navy, and actually I started selling real estate a year before I got out of the Navy by accident. It's a long story, you don't want to hear it today, but anyway, it's just become my passion. And I was telling somebody just yesterday, I said, I take care of my people, and my people take care of my business. And that's what drives me. It's my passion. I love helping people. And so I've been doing it for 45 years, mostly in Charleston. Just come here, start a new life this year. And I'm a certified residential specialist, which is less than 3% of the real estate population in the country. And I'm also a seniors real estate specialist, which you add that onto the CRS, it's probably less than 1%. Yes. Of all agents nationwide, I would guess.
Yes, yes.
I'm a realtor emeritus, which means I've been a good boy for over 40 years. I didn't get in any trouble, and I participated in local, state, and national membership boards and committees and educational things and stuff like that. So,
well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that for our real estate community.
You bet.
Wonderful. Okay. So Johnny, what's the best way to reach out to you if people have questions about, Fort Myers, houses, so forth and so on?
Well, I love phone calls. So that would be a good way to start with my number, 843-569-0000. Easy number to remember.
Yeah.
And my email address is Johnny, JOHNNY, at Johnny Joyce, JOHNNYJOYCE.com. Perfect.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much for taking the time to let everyone know about the benefits of, retiring down in Fort Myers. I'm sure that once they reach out to you, you are going to roll out the red carpet for them.
You betcha.
Yes.
And Mary, I appreciate you with the honor of this interview. I think a lot of you, and I appreciate you including me in your quiver of arrows.
Yes. Well, you are part of my adventure team.
Good.
Yes.
I like that.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Johnny.
You bet. It's always a pleasure to see you and talk to you.
Yes. And you too.